Hello and welcome to the Wheel to Wheel podcast with Ali and Akeem.
This is our F1 weekly catch-up. It's been a while, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It has been. But some big news did come out last week. And that news is that Christian Horner has been sacked from Red Bull Racing.
I think it was inevitable, to be honest.
Rumours were flying, even before the sacking, that this could be his last race. I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest. I think it was a surprise to the racing world. I think he was the longest serving principal at that point, wasn't he? So it was a big shock. Was it the right call?
I don't know, to be honest. It's like, I don't know if this was to please like just Verstappen. No, it wasn't. Because at the end of the day, Max is going to go where Max wants to go. And if you think getting rid of like Christian Horner is going to make him stay at Red Bull, then they've just made the worst decision.
It's such an interesting topic because there's so many, we don't know much that's going on in the background. There's so many ins and outs to this topic. And a lot of it involves Max Verstappen and his future. Does it lie at Red Bull Racing? Does he continue there? Or does he continue elsewhere in the likes of Mercedes, Toto Wolff? It's interesting because it's like, what is the right decision? Did Max and his team play a big part in this Christian Horner sacking? Did they sack him to appease Max to get him to stay? Is it because they see Max Verstappen as a bigger asset to Red Bull Racing than Christian Horner? And that's the one question I wanted to ask you. Is Max Verstappen more important to Red Bull Racing than Christian Horner?
That's very good. Because to be honest, when it comes to points, let's be real, he's the one bringing in all the points.
Yeah.
Christian Horner, on the business side of things, is the one getting things, done. Let's be real. Like he's the one on the radio making sure, like, yo, is that penalty? Reverse that penalty. Blah blah blah. Like, I think in terms of like team principle, he's the most on job. Like sometimes when I was a Mercedes fan, I really wish Toto was more on the ball, like how Christian Horner was. However, I think in terms of Red Bull, I think Christian Horner, it's hard. It's actually a hard one because you know what? I think going through our whole controversy like from last year, right? When they should have got rid of him, they should have got rid of him.
Yeah.
And I think that would have actually made the whole trajectory of Red Bull been a lot better. Because if they got rid of him, Adrian Newey would have probably still been on board. They would probably still had a lot of the aces.
Key players, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And now that you guys lost all of these key players, the only guy you really had left was like, Max and
Horner.
Really.
Horner.
And to be honest, it's one of those things where I'm just looking at it like it's too little too late. At this point, you might as well just ride it out.
Yeah. I mean, my answer to that question is I think Horner is actually more valuable than Max Verstappen at Red Bull Racing. It's only because he's the principal that actually built up Red Bull to what it is today. He's the one who brought Adrian Newey. He's the one that made Sebastian Vettel the 4-time world champion. He brought in Vettel, stuck with Vettel. And then after Vettel's 4 in a row, there was this rebuilding process at Red Bull. And he did rebuild it up again. And he obviously had another 4-time world champion in Max Verstappen. He knows what he's doing.
Facts.
And I think if I was the board and if I was risking losing Max Verstappen, it's probably the worst thing you can hear from a board, thinking like, okay, we're about to risk losing our best driver, the best driver on the grid. And
arguably
he's such a big asset to any team. Any team would want Max Verstappen, and it shows. It's just, I'd rather risk losing Max Verstappen, keeping Christian Horner. Yes, a lot of the problems that Red Bull Racing have right now is due to Christian Horner's actions, but I do believe that he is the man to steer the ship back on course.
Fact, yeah.
He's done it. He's done it many times before, and I think he could have done it again. it's just, yeah, that whole incident with Christian Horner just went into this spiral of losing all the key players, Adrian Newey, Jonathan Wheatley, and now potentially Max Verstappen. And they lost a lot of other key players. I just don't remember their names. Lost I think his race engineer, one of his key engineers, Max Verstappen's key engineers left. They lost one of their key aerodynamics guy to McLaren, and now look at McLaren. So all these key players have gone, and it's made Red Bull Racing such a weak team. I saw this stat on Twitter. Not really much of a stat, but it's just an interesting point that if you actually remove, for whatever reason, let's say if they remove Max Verstappen's points for this season, Red Bull Racing would be last in the constructors.
Wow.
That's one person bringing points. And,
wow.
And I get the argument is like that car is more suited to Max, and 100% is. But it's not the optimal car for Max Verstappen. We've seen if Red Bull, or if a constructor can make a good car for the key driver, like the main driver, they will perform and they will win a world championship.
Facts.
The fact that they haven't, it goes to show, but it's also showing that Max is carrying Red Bull back right now.
Yeah, facts. And right now they put their eggs in like the Max Verstappen basket right now. And to be honest, if he leaves, they're fucked.
Yeah, they're not a big team. They're really not a big team at the moment. It's just, yeah, one driver just carrying it. And we can see they have tried with 3 other second drivers in Checo and then Lawson, and now Yuki Tsunoda's the new victim at the moment. It's just not working out. It isn't the drivers. They're not bad drivers by any means. It's just the car is that bad and the team is not operating as a big team anymore. Like how many bad pit stops? Remember the one in Miami? They're just unsafe release and Max hits the back of Kimi. The traffic light thing is not working. Yeah. It's just a mess, and there's slower pit stops as well. The key players are gone.
And you know what's crazy? I remember like the 2023, like, but yeah, 2023, innit? Like they look so dominant, Red Bull. Like they were hitting everything, like the pit stops, the strategies, like so much things were like, you're like raw. Like even if you take the car away, they're still competitive. You know what I'm saying? But now that they don't, even now they don't have the car right. But Red Bull's been in a situation where they've not had a car before and they were still able to perform. But now we're just seeing a whole shambles.
It's a mess. It's a big mess. And I think it's all leading to a Max Verstappen exit. I wanted to ask you, now with Christian Horner's departure at Red Bull, does that mean Max will stay? Is that their way of making Max Verstappen stay Red Bull?
To be honest, that's their way of trying to keep Max. But Max is a very simple guy. And to be honest, he wants the car. He wants to be able to, like, you know, win races like every other driver. But
for the
I think he's not. He don't care about politics with Max. I don't think he really cares about Horner staying or if he goes or whatever. He just wants to win races and he wants to be back at the top. And Red Bull right now, like, can they give him that? He's asking these questions. Like you can see, like, you know, he's asking questions to other teams right now. You know what I mean? And
well, I mean, I read that Christian Horner, one of the biggest downfalls was that he has a lot of control in a lot of areas team, and I think that's one of the things that Max and his team did not like, especially with the departures of like Adrian Newey, Wheatley, and all these other key players. I feel like Christian Horner has been trying to control a little bit more, but then if he's not doing the job as what they were doing, they're obviously angry at that. Like, we need to make this team what it was.
that is true. But I mean, but look how it was working. Like, it's funny how when there's a rough patch where it's starting to question it, but it was working for so long. Like Red Bull were so dominant.
But the whole like Christian Horner like now controlling everything is because of they lost their key players. It was working up until 2023 and a little bit of 2024, but it's the downfall was at 2024 and that first quarter of the season where it was good. But then once it started losing the key players, it's just started to go downhill.
Granted.
And it was continuing to go downhill. And now it just feels like it's just the bottom.
I know. I feel like in 2026, they're going to be at least a midfield team.
Especially if they lose Max.
Yeah.
especially if they lose Max.
Facts.
Because right now they probably are making. I mean, they are definitely making their 2026 car, and they are obviously making it in the mind of like, we still have Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
That's going to be the case.
Ooh.
And that goes into the next subject. Max to Mercedes. What do you think? Do you think if you were Max Verstappen in this current situation, would you go to Mercedes?
You know what's funny, right? I would have actually gone with Aston Martin in a way, but I get it. You'd go to Mercedes because they have the best engine. They're the only team that are the most confident in this whole new regulations. And to be honest, it's potentially going to be a powerful, really powerful team. So I think making that right switch at the right time, it might work out nice. It might.
As a Max Verstappen fan, I'd love him to stay at Red Bull, but only if Red Bull were good. You know, the one thing about Formula One, it's a very cruel sport for a lot of drivers, and we saw it with Fernando Alonso. Heck, even Nico Hulkenberg saw potential in what he could do. And sometimes a driver just needs a car and a good team behind them to like really prove what they can do. And I just don't want Max Verstappen to be in that situation of like, okay, he now needs to move to another team because his current team is a bit crap. But then with F1, it's that decision. Is it the right decision to move to that team? Is that team going to be good next year? And I'm hearing that he's going to stay at Red Bull for one more year, and he's going to see who's the best performing team, who's got the best car, and he will move to that team, which I think is the right.
It's a sensible approach, isn't it?
Because you don't want to go and sign, a multi-year deal with, like, let's say if he does it with Mercedes, he signs like a 5-year deal with Mercedes, and they're not good. Well, they're decent, but they're not as good as what they've claimed, and they're stuck there, and he's not going to win championship. It's going to be like a Vettel going to Ferrari. It's just making bad choices, and it's not even a bad choice. It's just taking a gamble.
Yeah,
but it is right for him to move. I think he has to move because if he wants to continue winning world championships, he's not going to do it at Red Bull Racing.
That is true. And Mercedes are more than happy to take him. Like, Toto's been on his ass, mate. Fucking hell.
He's been on him since from the beginning.
Since the Rosberg days, isn't it?
He wanted him, but he just wanted him as a third driver reserves. But
because you know what, like the more I think about it, it's like if he does go to Mercedes, can Mercedes actually handle Verstappen? Because they have to also take into consideration he is a demanding guy.
Comes with baggage.
Yeah, he does come with baggage, and not only that, but he comes with Jos Verstappen as well. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's very involved.
But Toto has a really good relationship with.
Oh, but we know relationships. Relationships are very.
But the difference is, Toto is untouchable. Toto has a stake in Mercedes. Jos has no power over someone like Toto Wolff, and he's just an untouchable guy. He owns part of that F1 team, whereas Christian Horner did not. So that's the difference. Christian Horner was movable. He was a very disposable person. Toto Wolff is not.
But if Toto Wolff is not movable and they do have friction, does that mean that they're going to just leave Mercedes then?
Yeah, I think it'll just be a normal departure. If it does come down to that, it'll be like, cool, we want to go. Here's the buyout for it. Do it. What's crazy is how much it costs. And I've read that Mercedes CEO has given the green light to trigger Max buyout clause of $110 million. And his salary will be about $65-70 million on top of that. He's getting paid currently at Red Bull $65 million. So I'm guessing he would obviously want a salary increase for the contract. So I'm guessing $70 million he might get paid at Mercedes. He's already the highest paid F1 driver. So that's taking him even further beyond.
And how much do you really want to, like, it's how much you really want it, isn't it? How much you want to win. But at the same time, it's like Mercedes, if you're going to go for Max, you have to have like all cylinders ready. You have to be on the ball. Like, this is a make or break, because in a world where Max goes to Mercedes and he's having a horrendous time, like,
But I think that's why he is going to win. I think he is going to win, and I do believe this to be true, because Toto and Mercedes are only offering George the 1+1 deal. Why is that? And I think it has something to do with that. I think Max will stay at Red Bull 1 year. People are saying he might even just take a gap year, like he's playing university or something. But I mean, it kind of makes sense even if he takes a gap year. He just had a child, so I'm thinking maybe be with the youth a little bit. But yeah, he'll probably take 1 year and just assess. Maybe want to see where Red Bull's at. Maybe the Christian Horner sacking is allowing him to have some sort of power and some say in how the team operates.
True.
And also just to see, is Aston Martin the best team, or McLaren good again this year? Mercedes going to be as good as they say? And that gives him like 2-3 years to sign with them, win those 2-3 titles. I'm confident Max is, I think most people can say if Max joins the best team on the grid in 2027, he will win. I think it goes without saying. He will do it. So I think he's kind of looking at it in a more pragmatic approach. Let's not take any gambles. Because he's probably thinking, I'm not going to win the championship this year. What's another year not winning a championship? I would take that. If someone told you the next year you're not going to win a championship, but in the next following 2 years, I'll take it.
Yeah, true.
Take it. Max never won before his 4 world championships. He was in F1 for what?
7-8 years.
Yeah, I think it's like around that much, like 6-7 years before he won a world champion. So, or 2.
True.
And he will win another 2 easy. I think it's the right way to do it.
But that's the thing. I also said this, right? It's because like he's going into the Mercedes ecosystem. So now you got to think about the relationships with the drivers. Now you have Kimi and George.
Yeah.
So who would you get rid of for Max?
I think it would have to be George. Yeah, I think it would have to be George. Like I'm looking at it as if I'm Toto Wolff. I think the last thing Toto Wolff would want is the Nico Lewis situation. He has 2 drivers that more or less hate each other, and they're fighting for the world champion. It's choosing what's best for the team going forward, and also I think he sees Kimi as Project Max V2. He's got this young kid, and he's brought him into the senior team, and he's this prodigy, he's this big talent, and he wants him to be the next Max Verstappen.
Okay, all right, watch this. So you're Toto Wolff now. Who are you developing the car towards? Are you gonna try get it even where both of them can kind of drive it, or are you gonna do what Red Bull done and just put it in Max's direction, cater it to Max, and then Kimi's?
That is an interesting question, because yeah, I think if you go one direction, let's say if you go into the direction of Max Verstappen, you're going to see a Max Verstappen be totally dominant, like what we saw in 2022 and 2023, where he's just absolutely obliterates everybody on the grid, winning like over 80% of all the Grand Prix, which is great for Mercedes either way, because they still win the Constructors and they win the Drivers' Championship. But can Mercedes sustain that approach? Red Bull couldn't sustain it. I think Red Bull could have sustained it if the Horner situation didn't. They kept Adrian Newey, they kept all the key players. I think if they got the team behind Max and they keep that team and they have a solid foundation, then I would go down the direction, because it's proven it works. But it does affect Kimi's development. And that's only the downside. But if I'm looking at it as Toto Wolff and looking at it team, you still get your constructors, you still get a driver. I would go down that approach, me personally. But then you could also go down the approach of like, let's make a balanced car. But that might not also work. Go down a balanced car. Would that car be optimal to winning world championship?
But also, if Kimi's your protege and you're trying to get him up to, be that next, Max Verstappen, you're kind of like throwing him into the deep end, really.
Yeah.
You know, and giving him a car that's really difficult and potentially, going to make him less confident and all these other things. Can you
Yeah, I get that. And I will go back to the 2023 season, even 2022, where Checo was good. Checo could, no shade at Checo Perez. Checo Perez is a great driver. But if Kimi is what everybody's making out to be as this next world-class driver, the next world champion eventually, then he should be better than Checo Perez in that sense. If Checo Perez can drive a car that was well-suited to Max Verstappen at the most dominant time of Red Bull, then why can't Kimi?
Facts.
Checo was winning races back-to-back as well. And he was finishing in the top 3 of the drivers' championships.
That is true.
I think it can be done. It's just, can Mercedes do it?
That is a
I think
question.
it's not about like what approach they take. I think either approach could work. Can they execute it?
Facts.
That's the main question.
Facts.
So yeah, I think everybody would love to see a George and Max partnership. But I don't think it would end well. I think as fans,
I'm here for the chaos. I want the chaos, mate.
If you're asking me from a fan perspective, then I would like to see a Max and George partnership. But if you're asking me as a team principal sort of perspective, then yeah, I'd have to say, George, I'm sorry, you got to go. No hard feelings. It's just business at the end of the day. Going on to George, if this does happen, where does George Russell go to? Where would you go to?
Oh.
Would you go to Red Bull?
It's very tricky. Like, I feel like I'm just taking his sloppy seconds, isn't it? I don't think George wants that. But I think for him, I'll go to like Aston Martin.
Aston Martin does seem like a...
And I like to see what he does with Fernando and all of that. He has, you know what I mean? I feel like he can grow there.
Yeah, but I think I think George will be taking Fernando's seat, not Stroll's seat. Sadly, this is Aston Martin race. You know who's staying in the seat forever. We would love to see Fernando stay next year with Adrian Newey, hopefully for like another year or two to see where they're at.
True, no facts.
Nobody wants to see Lance Stroll and George Russell.
You know what's funny about Adrian Newey and Aston Martin? I heard he actually took a complete, literally, like I think he comes to the field or whatever, he watches it, but as far as the 2025 car, he's like, I have he cuts it off, like he's just not involved in it at all.
I think that's right. I think whoever's behind it in Aston Martin, the team principal or Lawrence Stroll, if I was them, I'd say the same thing. It's like, look, ignore this current car. This is the 2026 regulations. Build us a rocket ship.
Facts.
Build us a car that's going to win championship. That's what I'll be telling him. I'll be thinking, what's the point? Why are we scrambling around just to get little points here and there for this season? Yeah. We're okay being crap. If we're crap, we get more wind tunnel time and we can give that to you for 2026.
Yeah,
I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I think he came to the grid just to see how the team functions. I think he's helping Aston Martin build that foundation, make them into a championship winning team. He's got tons of experience.
And I think that's where George can thrive. Like I think he would do quite, and he kind of fits the whole, he's British, Aston Martin. It's like, it still kind of looks like him anyway, to be fair.
George Russell has 100% got a seat next year at most teams.
Facts.
If it's not Red Bull, Red Bull seems like the easiest option because if Max is leaving, that seat is open. So you can take that. We don't know whether Red Bull is going to be good or not next year. That's a mystery. Whether Ford engines, Red Bull powertrains and Ford engines?
Yeah,
we don't know. They could surprise us, but I mean, going off the trajectory at the moment, Red Bull, they're not looking too good. But he could go to Red Bull. He could stay at Mercedes. I don't know about Audi.
Who does Audi have? Hulkenberg.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's
who knows?
too soon
who
for
knows?
Audi.
It's George Russell. I think most teams will clear way for George Russell. Kind of like I know are getting Checo and Bottas. Yeah, but there's someone else that was Schumacher, Mick Schumacher's. But I'd be really upset if like Bottas didn't get the seat because of Mick Schumacher. Bottas is. He's a great driver.
But I always wanted to see Bottas and Checo.
Yeah,
like who was the best?
Bottas, definitely Bottas.
Yeah, I think Bottas.
Yeah, I think George will be fine. I do feel a bit sad for him because, you know, Mercedes were funding his career at Williams. He was there at a time where Mercedes was so dominant. And then by the time he got the seat at Mercedes, they were at the weakest era.
Yeah, definitely.
And now that they are gearing up to be back to the top, it's like, thanks, George. Hello, Max. Yeah, it's like, it is sad. I do feel for him in that sense. But at the end of the day, it's business. You know, if you were Toto Wolff and Verstappen's available, got the money to do it,
get him. I'll be honest. You just get him.
I think everybody understands that decision. It's harsh. Don't get me wrong. It's completely harsh, but
harsh, unfair. But
it seems to be the right.
It's a brutal beast of F1.
Yeah,
isn't it? Just brutality. Mate.
I mean, look, it done it to Sainz. Sainz wasn't a bad driver for Ferrari.
Yeah,
he was actually really good.
And it hurts watching him in a Williams not perform to the best, and he's again being by Albon right now. It's like I feel like his stocks has gone down, fam. You know what I'm saying? He was hot property. Like, think about it. But in another world, where Sainz went to Red Bull, do you think his stocks sort of went down lower?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
He probably dodged a bullet with that, to be fair.
For sure.
Yeah.
At least at Williams, the expectations are much lower.
It's true.
Yeah, but it's just not. I'm not dissing them in that sense, but it's Red Bull Racing. There's Williams. You know, there's levels.
Facts.
Yeah, imagine he did go like to Lawson, didn't go Lawson and Sonoda. Yeah, it would have looked really bad for Sainz, and at a point where it's like, who would he go to? Williams. At least that's a good way. At least he starts off with Williams. There's no expectation for him to be like performing like him at Ferrari. So yeah, it is harsh, but it's interesting. I can't wait for 2026 and seeing what the driver lineup are looking like. We have new additional teams. We have Audi actually coming in now, and then Audi's got the foundations to be great. Cadillac, it's looking good.
And you know what's interesting? I just want to see what the cars are gonna be like. Just seeing them on the track, and apparently like they're gonna be a little bit slower. You know what I mean? They're gonna be faster on the straights though, but they have less downforce. It's gonna be very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, I'm hearing that's the thing though. It's like I'm gonna bring it back to the Max and Mercedes move, because I think originally this regulation was supposed to run for at least 5 or 6 years, but now with this whole talks of engines, it might only last 3 years.
Good.
And the only team that's opposing that is Mercedes.
Yeah, we expect
it benefits them. So if it does only run 3 years, is Max still making the right decision getting Mercedes? But he still kind of probably does secure 2 championships. Let's go.
So wait. So that means he's staying 2026 with Red Bull when the regulation starts. Then he'll join in 27, which is 2 years into that regs. And then
28 will be the same.
And then 28 will be the same. And then he wins the championship, let's just say.
Let's say he wins
and then,
2.
But
and in 2029, the regulations
change again. Yeah.
But I mean, I'd still take that. And just
I don't know. Mercedes have a weird thing with their car development. Like I don't know why it is. I thought they were better with their car developments, but it's been very.
It's because
rocky,
I think it's before the cost cap rule came in. When there wasn't no cost cap, because Mercedes are a very rich team.
Facts. And
they could bring in all these upgrades because they could splash the cash. Now with the cost cap, can't do that. No.
Oh, it is tricky for them now. Like even because they brought back their actual main guy, their Adrian Newey, their answer to Adrian Newey, basically.
But the thing is, I'm hearing that Ben Suleiman, the FIA president, wants to get rid of the cost cap.
Oh God,
You know
this
what?
guy.
I was talking to Joe about this, and about drivers' wages aren't included in the cost cap. Which is good because it's like Lewis is on 60 million, Max is on 65 million. Imagine you get 250 million for the car development. So that's not included. But what's kind of shitty is that their wages are included in the cost cap, and I just think that's very shitty. I think it's really bad, because then that stops them getting pay rises and promotions.
Have you even looked at the see what was interesting when I was actually looking at jobs in F1 as well, and it's funny, you'll be like a top level aerodynamicist and you'll be on like 40 something K.
I'll take it.
No, but think about it. You studied, you went to the whole like aerodynamic engineering degree, all of these things. You studied hard for 40K.
But do you think, I think that's why they fight so hard for the constructors, because they win the constructors. So there's that incentive to be competitive in your job and to win.
Facts, but then you can.
No, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I think there is that incentive to actually work hard at your job. I kind of like that.
But I mean, sometimes you think about it, and then you can go into aviation and probably get more money, innit?
True. So you would want to work in aviation rather than travel the world? No,
F1 still, but
I want to travel the world with the F1
that's
circuits,
if money's not an issue.
I want to go to Brazil and just be like, yo, But yeah, I think that covers everything in this video. Stay tuned. Next week we'll have our bar build up for next week. The Belgium Grand Prix is next, and it's one of my favorite tracks, so I'm looking forward to it.
Facts.
And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.